Folks, Nintendo Switch Online just got an awesome update that I don't think many people were expecting to happen right now, maybe in a week or two, but we just got 4 new games added to the Switch Online service, so let's talk about it. Hello there everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is BoTalksGames. I posted a video earlier today talking about Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion, so go check out that if you missed it. But today we're talking about Switch Online, because Nintendo kind of randomly dropped a pretty hefty slate of games to the service. We had an NES game dropped, which we have not seen many of those recently. We had a really good SNES game dropped, and then 2 great Game Boy games added to the service in a month month span that hasn't been too great for Switch Online owners, especially if you had the expansion pack. Of course, we saw the announcement that Pac-Man 99 would be seeing its server shut down in October later this year, and then we had all the Mario Advance games added, which, while it's nice to have them, it's not the most exciting because Mario 2 and Yoshi's Island and these games, they were already on Switch Online. So that wasn't a very exciting announcement. But with this announcement they just did today, they announced this 13 minutes ago when I'm recording, and they already released them. There's no, oh, it's available next week. No, they're available right now. We got some absolute bangers. So here is the lineup. So first up, we have Kirby Tilt and Tumble, which I have been very excited about. I actually have, if I can open it really quickly here, I actually got a physical copy of the game very recently, if it'll focus. Oh god, I'm dropping it. This is a very expensive game, so to see it finally be released is awesome. And what's cool is, of course, if you can see the cartridge, it has a little gyro thing in it. I don't know why it's not focusing, but it used gyro, so you would tilt your Game Boy to move Kirby like a ball, basically. They added motion controls, so this is going to be the easiest way to play this game now, the most modern way. It's going to be awesome. I've been waiting for this ever since they announced it in the February Nintendo Direct, and it is finally here. But there's even more good stuff in this update, because out of nowhere, we're getting Harvest Moon SNES. Harvest Moon, I believe, is on the Japanese Super Famicom Switch Online, or maybe it's Harvest Moon 64, or one of those things, but Harvest Moon has not been on the service yet in America, and it's finally getting added, and that is such a perfect game for this service. I know a lot of people have been waiting for Animal Crossing in 64 to get added, hopefully. That would be awesome, and I could see them doing that. But Harvest Moon is fantastic. Well, the older games, right? Ever since the whole shift to Story of Seasons, it's been a little muddled in the West. But those classic Harvest Moon games, even up through like the DS era, are really all fantastic. So getting Harvest Moon in 64 is fantastic, and hopefully this paves the way for getting Harvest Moon 64 in the West on Switch Online for the expansion pack owners. So Harvest Moon, that's an awesome game to get. It's also just a game that's like timeless, right? Kirby Tilt and Tumble, that's kind of a fun gimmick game, and I'm excited to play it for the first time, because I tried playing it with the gyro and the cartridge. It really doesn't work that great, so with motion controls it'll be a lot better. But with Kirby, I'm gonna beat that in a couple hours and then be done. Harvest Moon, I mean, you can put however many hours you want into that, right? That is truly a timeless game. But it doesn't end there. We got 2 other very interesting titles. I'm repping the brand on the shirt right now. If you know, you know. Blaster Master Enemy Below, coming over from the Game Boy Color. I believe this is the first time the game's ever been re-released outside of a Virtual Console release on the 3DS, so I guess second time. This was, I believe, just the... I'm gonna be honest, as a fake Blaster Master fan here, I've only played the Zero games from Inti Creates. I haven't played the originals. So I'm not sure if this was... I mean, I watched the trailer, of course. It looks like Blaster Master. I'm not sure if this was like a sequel to the NES game or what. I'm unfamiliar with those games as a whole for the most part. I need to go back and play them. And now we have even more opportunity to do so now that it is available on the Switch from Sunsoft. So Blaster Master Enemy Below is available now, which is a great get. And then the final game is interesting to me. I'm a little confused. So it is a game from Namco called Mystery Tower. Now, when I Google this game, basically nothing comes up. There's a game called Deadly Towers. I don't know if that's the same game. In fact, when I Google Mystery Tower Namco, something comes up with like showing a trademark that they filed in 2022. So I'm a little confused. If you can let me know what this is in the comments below, I'd love to, get your input. I don't know if this is like a Japanese game being released for the first time in English. That would be really cool. But either way, a NES game that I hadn't heard of. And the fact that we're getting any NES or SNES games at all is nice. Because if you don't know, and I've been very much studying the release dates and all this stuff because of a little dispute I had with Tucker on the podcast, we've only gotten one NES and SNES game this year, and it was freaking Side Pocket, and what was the NES game here? It was Xevious. So it's been pretty light on that front. So to see this Mystery Tower game, but also Harvest Moon come over is nice. for the people that are on the basic Switch Online tier. Because, of course, well, I guess Kirby Tumble also is basic, right? Because that's expansion pack is N64 and GBA. So this is a good day for basic Nintendo Switch Online holders. Now, these announcements, exciting for sure, but I do want to talk about something that I thought was interesting, fueling the direct hype and speculation. Now, I've only checked the past 6 months, so all of the releases in 2023. However, unless I'm mistaken, they have never announced and released or done anything to this effect with any Switch Online games on a Monday before. I don't know if that's significant. A lot of people are, waiting and holding on to their chairs, hoping for a direct in the next couple of weeks in this Summer Games Fest E3 season. But just to run it down for you, we'll just go through here. So, like I said, Xevious and Side Pocket came to Switch Online on March 15th. And let me just check the date here. That was a Wednesday. And you'll see that seems to be the most prominent date here. And if you go further back, I'm sure you can find a Monday release. But just talking recently, I thought it was interesting. Moving on to Game Boy/Game Boy Color, of course, we had in February, on February 8th, which was the Direct. That was a Wednesday where we got all those games added. And then we also had Burger Time Deluxe and Kirby's Dream Land 2 on March 15th, which was once again a Wednesday. Then we move on to N64 updates. We've had 2 this year only. So on January 27th, we saw the release of GoldenEye 007. That was a Friday release. And then on April 12th, we got Pokemon Stadium, which was, just confirming here, a Wednesday. Moving on to Sega Genesis, we saw Flicky, Kid Chameleon, Pulseman, and Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition added on April 18th, which was a Tuesday. And then for Game Boy Advance, of course, we had the initial lineup on February 8th, which was a Wednesday. March 9th, we had Metroid Fusion added, which was a Thursday. May 25th, we saw the Super Mario Advance kind of lineup of games there. Mario Advance 1, 2, and 3 on May 25th, which was a Thursday. So, at least in this past 6 months, they have not announced or released a classic, Nintendo Switch Online game on a Monday. If you want to correct me on something here, please feel free. I would love to, get a little bit more research going on here. I don't believe they've also ever announced these games on a Monday. Certainly not announced and released on a Monday, because these are all the release dates. Maybe they have simply announced the game and released it later that week, but normally when they announce these, they kind of just shadow drop them, right? I was actually, like I said, getting into a debate with Tucker on the podcast, because he was trying to say that they don't update this very often, saying they only update the Switch Online like once a month. We've been doing the podcast for 6 weeks now. This is the 3rd update since we started doing the podcast. So it's really not that bad. It might feel spaced out, but in all honesty, Switch Online gets updated pretty frequently. Now, maybe it's not always games you want to see. This update is definitely the best one this year, outside of the initial February 8th kind of drop of Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. But, Harvest Moon and, Blaster Master and Kirby Tilt and Tumble and this new Mystery Tower game, very cool stuff. Whereas, May 25th, maybe not the best update with Switch Online getting Mario Advance. So, this is interesting. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think maybe they were getting this announcement out of the way for a potential Direct? The thing is, you can look at it both ways, truly. The fact that this got released this way on a Monday is kind of weird, because it seems like they're almost getting it out of the way for another announcement, maybe tomorrow or Wednesday. Or, if they were going to have a Direct, why wouldn't this have just been in the Direct? It's that kind of thing. Unless they have some other Switch Online announcements planned, and this was just kind of like a little appetizer. So, it's very interesting. I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Are you excited to play these games? Honestly, all 4 of them, I'm pretty interested in checking out. I don't know how much I'll play Harvest Moon. I played that on Wii U Virtual Console back in the day. But Blaster Master, Enemy Below, and Kirby Tilt and Tumble, which I'm gonna go play right now. I'm very excited to check out. Maybe I'll do like a retro review for Kirby Tilt and Tumble. Let me know if you want to see that. But yeah, randomly on a Monday evening, a pretty nice update for Switch Online out of nowhere. Let me know which of these 4 games that you will be checking out in the comments down below. And subscribe here so you don't miss any of my Nintendo Switch coverage. Until next time, folks, peace.